Hi, my name is Victor Bart, welcome to Retro Machines, and this is my Homelab. It's in a 38U Sun server rack. It's hosting my file server and my switch and my PF Sense machine, and the rest is just to play with and experience with and have fun with. This video is sponsored by my long-term sponsor PCBWay. If you want your circuit boards designed, realized and printed, you should check out PCBWay. Starting prices as low as $5 for a 1 or 2 layer design. Place your order now, links in the description. I didn't do much with the whole rack the last months, but now we're gonna do two things. Some maintenance on my backup server, it's super small maintenance, you will see. And I'm gonna upgrade my HP switch because I have a module here and another module here, and these two modules has 4 SFP plus ports for 10 gigabit networks, and I have a box here from fs.com, and the box contains 8 SFP plus modules for 10 gigabit over fiber. So thank you FS for providing those modules to make this video and my upgrade in my Homelab. In the top of the rack we have this HP 2910 AL with power over Ethernet, and that is my main switch for my gigabit connections right now. And I have a MikroTik switch in the back of the rack, which I'll show you later for the 10 gig network stuff. Here my patch panel with some cable runs through the house. Here we have my Core 2 Duo Linux machine with 4 COM ports as a console server. This is my PF Sense router, which I made in a video. I will link it in the description. Here 2 old Quantum 3D Alchemy systems. This one isn't built up, but this one has dual Pentium 3 with 8 VSA 100 chips. So that is like 4 Voodoo 5500s on one card. So that's a little bit of insane hardware. Then we have my rack console. So that's a monitor and a keyboard. And it only takes 1 U in the rack. Then 2 Sun V100 servers that I still need to get up and running. One I already played a little bit with and installed something on it, and they are working with IDE drives. Under the V100 we have a Sunfire V210, which has DDR1 memory, 2 CPUs, 2 hard drives, way faster than those machines, and I also still need to play with that. This is my main file server, dual socket 2011 with 6 8TB hard drive, 128 GB of memory, some SSDs. It's running great. Only one drive has a little bit of issues, so I need to replace it. This is my backup server, and it's a super micro machine, dual socket 1366 with 96 GB of memory and 10 3TB hard drives. Here we have a Sun X4600 M2, and this machine is insane because it has 8 physical CPUs and 128 GB of memory. It only has 2 GB memory sticks. So we have 64 memory modules in this machine. Yeah, it's just to play with, and idle it is 800 watts. That's way too much, even because we have now solar on the house. 800 watts is still way too much. Here we have an Apple Xserve machine, but it is a headache to install it, and the software is out of date, and yeah, it's dual socket 771 I think, with 16 or 32 GB of memory. Pretty nice machine, but a little bit really obsolete. And here, of course, a drawer with some random stuff. And also here's a drawer with cables and stuff like that. And in the bottom we have an old UPS, and I need to get rid of it and scrap it because it's not stable anymore, and I don't run a UPS right now, to be honest. And this UPS already blew up the power supply of my server, so I don't trust it anymore. But it's really heavy, so in scrap value it has some value left. So here in the rear of my rack we have my 4-port MikroTik switch. Those switches are awesome, they perform well and they are cheap. And right now they run with this gigabit cable to the main switch. Also it's power over Ethernet. But I'm gonna install the modules in my main switch, so this will become a secondary switch. And with the upgrade of the main switch and the MikroTik together, we have 4 plus 4 is 6. So we will have total of 6 10 gigabit ports. And right now my main workstation is on 10 gigabit, my server is on 10 gigabit, my backup server is on 10 gigabit, and one port is right now to play with. For example, I forget if this machine has a 10 gig NIC, but probably it has. Maybe I should check it out if this machine had one. And indeed this machine also has a 10 gigabit NIC and a SCSI card, because why not, and some random card, I forget what it was. I didn't power up this system for a while, and you see here why. Each module has one dual core AMD CPU with 8 memory sticks DDR2. Yeah, this machine is a little bit insane. But I will play with it more someday, because it's just fun. And I'm really happy that this machine is on rack rails, because it's a really heavy mother effer. Now let's do some maintenance on this machine, because it needs a new CMOS battery. Super simple, but you still need to do it. So let's unplug some cables in the back, and then I can pull this forward. And this video is a good reason to show this machine, because this bad boy came out of a dumpster and I really love the hardware in it. The only thing is it's a tiny bit louder than my main server, so my father will hear this if it's running at night. But it is running TrueNAS or FreeNAS, I forget which version I'm running. This system is just awesome. We have 2 internal USB ports, so I'm running 2 USB sticks for the operating system. The hard drives are all in the front, no SSDs, because this is just for backup purposes. An IBM 1015 SAS controller with 2 cables to the front. The other 2 drives are just connected directly onto the motherboard. 10 gigabit NIC, 2 CPUs, 5640Ls, so 6 core, low power, running at 2.33 GHz or something like that. 69 gigabyte of memory, because why not? Yeah, it's total overkill. Original coolers. This Supermicro has some proprietary motherboard, but it's just amazing hardware. And also this one has probably a power supply that can be upgraded. And we have 2 800 watt power supplies. So probably I can steal the power supplies from my brother's server, because it makes more sense to have more power in this machine than in his machine. But to be honest, 800 watt is more than enough. So I probably won't steal it. And if I do it, I will never tell anyone. And now we're gonna do the main job of changing the BIOS battery. Because this one is empty. And I also really like that this machine is also on rack rails. Only the rails of the Supermicro server and many servers aren't compatible with my Sun rack, because I have here M5 or M4 holes instead of rack nuts. So it's sometimes really difficult to install a piece of hardware if it's specially designed that it just mounts in a square hole instead of with a bolt. That's why I also like the Sun machines in this rack, because they bolt in straight. But switches and stuff like that and simple rack ears always fit, because they are standard but not with the square hole. Does your Homelab have this feature? If the answer is no, you're not a YouTuber, because we only install RGB lights for the thumbnail. But the real truth is, it quadruples the performance of your energy meter. It spins faster with the RGB on. Let's talk about the energy usage of this Homelab rack. And to be honest, since we have the solar panels with the old school analog meter, our energy bill is pretty much zero. So yeah, I can run the whole lab from the solar panels, and only my switch, my pfSense box and my main server are running 24 hours a day. But let's get back to the serious stuff, because we're gonna upgrade the switch now with the two modules. And I think it's a pretty straightforward job. Just take out the switch, put in the modules, put it back, turn it on, put in the cables, and it probably works, because there's not a special configuration on my switch. So yeah, let's see how it goes. So let's take a closer look at the switch. It's an HP ProCurve 2910 AL40G PoE Plus switch, the G9148A. So we have here a console port, some LEDs, some more status LEDs, 4810 100 gigabit ports over Ethernet, and here we have 4 SFP modules. But those are not SFP plus, but just normal SFP, so only gigabit speeds. So in the rear, and this thing is pretty heavy because there's a massive power supply inside. We have a power connector, but not a normal C13, but with the special one with the extra bridge. So you have a thick enough cable for the extra power. Here we have a 54 volt input and a 12 volt input, so you can make it as a redundant power supply option, a USB port, and here the two modules goes. Let's take a look at the modules. HP ProCurve 2P10 GBE SFP Plus AL module, and AL is pretty important because it's also an AL switch, so you can only use AL modules in this switch. And the product number is J9008A. Some LEDs here, two SFP Plus ports, and here it says use only HP ProCurve Mini GBX SFP Plus modules. But the modules that I got are compatible with HP, and also says here SFP 10 GSR85 HP. So I specially ordered them that they are compatible with the HP stuff. NFS has a lot of options on their website with compatibility with all the brands there are. So if you need modules, check their website out on fs.com. The blanks are super heavy duty. So yeah, let's remove them, and I will keep them because I have two more switches of this series, but those are without power over Ethernet, but they have the stacking modules. So if I just want to connect more than one of the HP switches in my network, I can use the stacking module. And I think the stacking module is also like a 10 gigabit connection between the switches. And the switches has an sort kind of PCI connector here. Let's insert them. And there are rails in here, so they slide directly in the right spot. And you need to push them in and then secure them with the screws. And to install the GBX, just push them in. And keep the rubber plugs as long in if you don't plug in cables, because otherwise they can get dirt in it and then you need a cleaning tool. Non-HP transceiver detected. which may cause network problems. Use show interface transceiver command for details. HP will not support or troubleshoot problems with these transceivers. Let's see, port 1 to 48 are the 10100s, and A1 and A2 and B1 and B2 we just installed, and already detected that it has an SFP Plus module and an SR module, 10 gig FD. So let's install the transceiver in my workstation and plug the cable from the MikroTik to the main switch and see if there's changing something here. I logged in over the new connection, and here you see port A1 SFP Plus blah blah blah, and it's working because I logged in over that connection. And I also plugged in the DAC cables to my server and my backup server, type question mark serial number unsupported. Yeah, let's see if I can connect to my server. Okay, my DAC cables are not compatible. That's why FS has the modules that are HP compatible. So what I'm gonna do is remove the DAC cables and just put fiber cables between the servers and the new switch. And then it needs to work. I removed the 3 meter DAC cable, and this is from the brand Panduit. And with my previous job on the truck, I went a lot of times to them in the Netherlands. But now I drive by another trucking company with way cooler loads than DAC cables and stuff. Like 18 meter pipes and stuff. So check my Instagram if you want to see stuff like that. So this cable will just go on the shelf and still works with the MikroTik. But I was prepared for this, that it could happen, because FS also has fiber cables and they are pretty affordable and also really long length. So yeah, let's install an FS cable. And always keep the little protection caps, because they come in handy, because you don't want to have dust in there. So let's install the cable and see if my server works over the new switch. The connection to the server is now also working with the FS fiber cable and the FS GBIX. So they are compatible with the HP, just that they promised on the website, but not supported by HP. But I think this whole thing is way too old to get any support from HP. I really like this HP switch. It was donated by a subscriber, with the 48 gigabit ports with power over Ethernet, and now the 4 10 gig ports in the back. What I still like to have in my network are 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports for the Asus Store NAS and devices like that. Only I don't have a solution for now for it. Maybe I can find the right GBIX for it, or a switch that has an SFP Plus 10 gig port and also 2.5 gigabit ports. I googled a bit and I found prices of 600, 700, 800 euros. So that's a bit crazy. So if you know a solution to get 2.5 gigabit ports with a good uplink to the rest of the network, let me know in the comments. It's a week later now and the upgrade of my switch is very successful. The connection is stable, it didn't drop out or give errors, so it's a successful upgrade. If you are building a Homelab with old enterprise gear, fs.com is really a place to go to get your transceivers, your cabling and stuff like that. So check them out, links will be in the description. And if you like to support me, you can support me monthly on Patreon and join my awesome Discord server, or check out my Amazon affiliated links. And thanks for watching.